Clash of Clans is a very enjoyable and well-loved game. It's been at the center of many players' hearts for so long. Ever since the game was first released 12 years ago, the game has been introduced to several updates. Although there were a fair few of problems and complications that arose over the years, there has never been a bigger issue than space. Clash of Clans is a great game. It allows you to progress through several different town halls, and the best part is unlocking new features and buildings with every town hall as showcased by the Chief's journey. However, this is where the problem starts. We know that Clash of Clans is an ever-running game, or at least we hope. The game will keep adding new features and new buildings and new town halls for however many years the game keeps running. This sparks the question, will the home village ever run out of space? Doing a little bit of research, it's obvious that Supercell has been worried about this very question for years. They knew that the more they expanded, the more the space would shrink. The Supercell team knew that they had to find out a solution fast, and one that actually worked. Diving a little deeper, we can see that the developer team have always been considering this issue for a long time. And primarily, this is one of the reasons why Supercell would like to keep the total building count to remain under 100. I mean, if you're to take a look at today's max Town Hall 15s, there's barely any room for any new designs or buildings for future Town Halls. As community manager Darian says in his interview with Judas Loth, we don't want to fill every single square inch with defense since 1, we can't put any obstacles or defenses, but 2, it gets a little too complex. This goes back to one of the major reasons for sticking under that 100 building marker, as generally it would stop the base from getting too big and too complicated. It will make bases harder to read, harder to see, harder to attack, and that also goes back to whether or not we should increase the attack time. So it's important for Clash to stick under that 100 building limit, and with some recent updates, they've been doing that extremely well. Players speculate that this is why the removal of extra barracks was incorporated into the game. This was one of the major buildings that was just taking up unnecessary space, so Clash just reduced the 4 barracks for elixir troops into 1 and also minimized the 2 dark barracks into 1. This update was one of the many that helped free up space in the home village. Additionally, adding weaponized town halls and weaponized builder huts were a great addition to help combat home village space. The addition of attacking builder huts and a defending town hall allowed Clash of Clans to incorporate new defenses without necessarily adding a new building. This was an ingenious thought by the dev team that without today would leave the game in a different state. Also, it's important to look at all the buildings that are located outside of one's village. The Super Troop Sauna, the Clan Games building, and any other event buildings were also strategically placed outside of the village to maximize free space and to minimize building capacity. This was another good idea to allow players to use the buildings, but also to keep them out of the home village for any extra space. And last but not least, the most recent update has brought with it a new town hall and a new way to reduce space in the home village. As speculated by players for many years, merging buildings was finally here. Unlike the barracks, defenses couldn't just be removed. They were a key fundamental part of the village. So, the Clash team decided on merging defenses to make them stronger, but also to help clear up space in the very crowded Town Hall 15 village as talked about before. Another thing that many players overlook is seasonal obstacles and decorations, which also take up space but are very important to the player base. Although they don't have to take up space, in a way leaving room for them is very important as it serves as kind of like a museum for players and it helps showcase their status as a player in Clash of Clans. I know there are a lot of obstacle hoarders out there, so make sure to leave your thoughts about this in the comments below. Moving on to base expansion. Another one of the big ideas provided by the Clash community, will it or will it not happen? Many players have thought it could be a good idea to buy land just like it is in Boom Beach. However, another quote from Darian, the community manager, settles this hot topic fairly.
I think that's one of the ones that it would be a last resort if we can't figure anything else out. Some things to consider when you look at increasing the base size is, time constraints. If it's a bigger base, it's going to require more time to traverse. Does that mean it's enough to complete a 3-star attack? As the game gets more powerful, let's say Town Hall 16, 17, where there's more powerful defenses, more levels, you've got so many moving parts, so much complexity, increasing the map size may not be the right thing to do.
As Darian says, this goes back into the time limit with attacks, complexity of reading bases, complexity of attacking, complexity of even viewing the base. As the game grows bigger, the map size can't necessarily grow along with it. It's important to also realize the game has reached peak phone screen size, as we wouldn't want to have a bigger play space that needs to be even more zoomed out and things being harder to see. With all this information in mind, where does this leave us today? Taking a look at some max Town Hall 16 bases, they are looking as spacious as ever before. They are incorporating the previously mentioned ideas well enough, but what about the future? I suspect that just like the merged archer towers and the merged cannons, they will be merging wizard towers or motars. And just like the barracks, it's a possibility that army camps will be reduced from 4 to only 2 or 1, as that's pretty much how much actually fill up anyways. So, in conclusion, will Clash of Clans inevitably run out of space? And the answer is not a simple yes or no. In fact, it actually depends on the developer team, the community, and whether or not a solution is figured out. For now, I guess we can take merged defenses one at a time and see what the future holds for us. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Make sure to leave your thoughts and ideas down below. Peace out and take care.